For today's video, I thought it would be fun to show you guys what happens when I'm working on a family's pictures. I chose this picture because there's a few things that happen in this picture or that I had to work on this picture that are kind of typical when I'm shooting at a home where the light's not always the most ideal. The lights and the shadows are hitting in places where we don't always want them to, or they're hitting the thing that we want to focus on, which it does in this picture, but there's someone else in the picture who doesn't have as much light on them. First, I'll go in here and click on the black and white since I want to edit this in black and white. Just hitting the black and white button doesn't do much. As you can see, the colors are kind of muddied. There's not a lot of contrast, and I like to have a lot of contrast in my pictures. So that's the first thing I'm gonna do, is bump up the contrast and the clarity. And now it's already starting to look a lot more like my pictures. I'm gonna bump up the exposure because I want us to see him, or I want us to see them both, but him really well. I want him to be well lit. So I'm also going to bump up the lights here even further. But I also want us to see more detail on Mom. So I will bump up shadows a lot. There. So I'm pretty happy with this already, but I do not like this light blob here, this light area, because it competes with his face and we want focus to go straight to him. So I'm going to take exposure down here a little bit, and the highlights a bit. All right, so now there's not as much light going on here, so we can focus more on the kid. I'll bring the oranges and the yellows and the reds up just a hair. So, because those are the colors that are kind of reflected on his skin, so that helps him stand out even further. And then one thing with this picture was that I had to stand kind of towering over them and holding my camera high up in my arms, or in my hands, but my arms high. So I couldn't see the screen very well when I took these pictures, which means that at some point, or when I took this picture, the lens or the camera was kind of tipped a little so that the tops of their heads are the things that are kind of closest to the camera, and that's why they also look kind of bigger, a little bit distortedly bigger compared to everything else. So that's why I want to help level that out a little bit. So let's tip it. And now I just have to crop a little. So there. I'd say that this is pretty much where I'd want to leave, or where I left this picture. So here you guys can see the original picture and how it ended up. This was really fun showing you guys what goes on behind the scenes over here in my office, so maybe I will do a few more of these in the future. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your week.